Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Megan and I am a sustainable and ethical life and style blogger at activism.com. A few weeks ago I went to one of the Goodwill outlets in Los Angeles and posted a try-on haul with what I got at the outlet, and you people on the internet seemed to love it, so I'm back with another one, but with a twist. This time I went to the same Goodwill outlet, but I brought my mom since it was parents' weekend at USC, and it was interesting. As soon as we walked in, we saw the first probably 3 bins in the front were full of sample items. They still had tags from the actual brand that they were from, and a lot of the tags had something about a sample written on it, like the season that it was for or the material code, things like that. And because I work in fashion and I've worked with samples before, I kind of know what those tags look like. So those particular items were never actually sold in the store, they just were probably in their sample closet. I would say maybe thousands of them ended up at the Goodwill outlet, and I have thoughts on that. So before I dive into that whole conversation, I'm going to show you all the regular things that I got at the outlet first, and then have a chat about samples and the waste that's created from the fashion industry, and then talk about something cool that I'm going to be doing. So let's dive into the regular things that I bought. First thing that I got are these green pants. They have elastic around the sides and look to be a very worn vintage tag. I like that they have pleats down the front and they're kind of nicer pants without being like super dressy. This has a Goodwill tag on it, so I know that it came from a Goodwill store. So they would have been $6.99. My mom and I put our stuff together when we were checking out, and it was about 10 pounds, and at this Goodwill outlet it's $2.29 per pound of clothing, and my clothes were definitely the heaviest, so yeah, about $20. But I got those pants for a lot less than what I would have paid for in a store. This was probably the heaviest item that I got. It is this John Ashford leather jacket. It just looks like a nice bomber leather jacket. I honestly bought it to sell it. I don't like doing that very often, and I talked about it in another video, why I have problems with people who just like take all these clothes out of thrift stores and don't replenish them and just take and don't give, especially if it's a system that's not made to benefit you. I am not the core audience that should be benefiting from thrift stores, but I shop there anyway and I donate there anyway. Aside from that, I bought this leather jacket. Obviously it ended up in the Goodwill outlet for some reason or another. Either it didn't sell in the store or it just didn't go to the store and went directly to the outlet. And because it's a heavier piece of clothing, people there aren't going to buy it, and my fear is that it's just going to be thrown away if it isn't purchased. And leather is a material that I think we need to be really careful about, because it takes a lot of chemicals in the dyeing process to actually make leather clothing. I just think it's really important to take care of the leather that we already have, because it is such an unsustainable process. So I bought it. If you're interested in this jacket, check out my Depop at Activism. I will link it down below. That being said, I'm not going to post it for a ridiculous amount of money. I'm not here to make a profit. I really just want it to have a second life, and it had been on the top of a bin for the whole hour and a half that my mom and I were there, so it needs to find a good home. My mom actually found this for me. This is some kind of fabric. It has little like dotted material and it's super soft, almost like velvet, but it doesn't give you that like chills if you rub your hand the wrong way, you know what I'm talking about? So I'd say it's probably a yard of this fabric. It's not very wide, but I really want to make pillows out of it for my bed. I'm a big pillows gal, and I have an old pillow that I don't sleep on anymore, and I want to repurpose the stuffing from it. I actually saw a whole another bolt of fabric, so yards and yards and yards of this gorgeous floral fabric. I'll insert a picture, but it just would have been too heavy to buy, and I do have a sewing machine, but I don't actually make clothes all that often, so the Goodwill outlet is also a good place to look if you're looking for literally just fabric. I also found this silk scarf. It's 100% silk. I don't wear silk scarves all that often, but I definitely want to get more into wearing them around my head, like as a headband. I really liked the colors of this scarf and think that they're really nice. It isn't in the best quality because it definitely is a more vintagey scarf, but it's 100% silk, which means that it's higher quality, and yeah, it's so light. Like there's no way that, I'm sure this costed like cents. This is something else that my mom found for me. It's always good to go with a friend to the Goodwill outlets because you can divide and conquer and really look through all the bins. So my mom found this like green baby doll kind of sheer top. I like that it has elastic around the neckline and the armholes and around the chest. I just love this color. Clearly I have a thing for this green color, and it would have been sold in the Goodwill store for $3.99. It'll be really nice for spring and summer in LA, and even now it's supposed to be like 80 degrees today, even though it's November. This was the first thing that I found when I walked in. It's actually a vitamin A swim bikini top, and it's super strappy in the back. Vitamin A Swim is a really cool sustainable swimwear brand. I haven't bought directly from them because they're super expensive, but it was cool to find this in a Goodwill outlet. I personally don't have a problem buying bathing suit tops at a Goodwill because you can clean them just like anything else. Bathing suit bottoms are a little bit of a different story, but this was a good find, and it was being sold in the store for $3.99 and nobody bought it, and so now I have it. I'm trying to find a picture online of what it looks like or what the style was called so that I can get an idea of how much it costed. Wow, I got a lot of stuff. That's the one thing about the Goodwill outlet. It encourages binge shopping in a way that I often overlook because of the price. You just end up buying a lot of stuff. And as someone who previously used to go thrift shopping a lot just to resell stuff, it like brings back that kind of, oh my gosh, this is such a good deal, I could make so much profit off of it. It's also what business school does to you, but I digress. Next, I found this Brandy Melville crop top. It buttons up in the front and has a little elastic around the back. I really like this Brandy Melville pattern. I don't love Brandy Melville stuff kind of in general, but I thought that this was really cute with jeans or even with like a white long sleeve shirt layered underneath for the fall and winter, and it was being sold in the regular Goodwill for $7.99. I would never buy a top like this for $7.99, especially secondhand, so this was definitely a good find at the Goodwill bins. This is very bright, but I think it's kind of fun. It's this red like mock neck turtleneck tank top. I think this would be really cute for the holidays and is like practical enough to wear through a bunch of different seasons in California and LA. And the last regular item I got was this, let's see, Uniqlo thermal top. It's just a navy blue like thermal long sleeve top. It's an extra large. It feels a little bit cropped, which I really like, and I love this thermal material. I just don't have anything in it, so this is a good like extra layer when I'm chilly. Yeah, it's a good extra layer. It's a good basic. So moving on to the next part of this video. As I mentioned in the beginning, when my mom and I walked in, there were a whole bunch of just sample items, and the more I started looking at them, the more we started looking, I was like, this is amazing, look at all this cool stuff. I really like samples and the story behind how clothing gets made, and I think it's really cool to get a clue of what kind of thinking and process and effort was going into each of these items of clothing before they end up getting mass produced. So we were really excited looking through all of them, reading all the notes on the tag, and then we started noticing that they were like everywhere and people didn't seem to be going crazy over them. And in the past when I've gone to the Goodwill outlet, people will just snatch up anything with a good brand name, and these are some really good brand name stores, and so I was surprised that they were kind of everywhere and that people weren't snatching them up to resell. And so the more we started looking, we started to realize that everything had been cut, and not enough to fully ruin the garment, but enough that people would have trouble selling them or even repairing them to be used again. And so we thought maybe it was just those items, but as we looked in every single bin throughout the entire Goodwill outlet, there were items from these brands and all of them had been cut. There were even some stickers and tags on them that said mutilated, like pointing out the exact area where they had been cut, and also saying like, this sample is mutilated, don't mark as sample. And so I, as someone who cares a lot about textile waste, started to feel honestly kind of nauseous. Like, how on earth could a company willingly do this? And it reminded me a lot of the whole Burberry thing that happened last year, where they burned millions of dollars worth of their unsold inventory because they didn't want to sell it at a discount. I understand hypothetically in a business world why you wouldn't want to sell something at a discount, but with the knowledge that we have now about what it means to burn textiles and the textile waste issue and the climate crisis issue, I just can't believe that people are still doing this. Once my mom and I came home, we talked about it with my dad, who's worked in business for a long time, and he said that brands, if they donate things to a charitable cause like Goodwill, they probably get a tax write-off. And so it makes me kind of nauseous to think about the fact that these brands are knowingly mutilating, cutting holes in perfectly good garments that may be a little bit lower quality because they're samples, just because they don't want them to be resold, but they also want to get some kind of a financial benefit for it. So I just felt like I had some kind of a responsibility to take some of these items and fix them up and sell them to people who would want them and would care about them. I don't need all of these clothes, but I just felt some kind of a responsibility to do something. I picked up a bunch of these clothes that have holes in them to fix up, sew up the holes so that they're usable again, and resell them to people, not for a large profit, just people that would like them and would treat them with the respect that clothes deserve to be treated with. So some of these items do have holes in them. I was able to find, I think, 2 items or 3 items that don't have holes in them. And those are just cool because they have the sample tags and all that information. So like these pants have notes on them everywhere. They're called the Ross Pant Argo Fit or something. This tag on the inside says Men's Fall 04 Holiday 04 Tokyo Trip, John, Jason, and Sue. And it's dated November 11th, 2003. So these pants have been sitting in a sample closet for a long time, I'm assuming. I mean, at least since 2003, and they're like perfectly good samples. I haven't found any holes in these yet, but I just really like the design, and I like the idea that it has that kind of story behind it. Like these people had gone to Tokyo either on an inspiration trip or to design these clothes, and it's been around since then, like fashion, I don't know. It was just cool. Something else that I found that didn't have a hole in it is this Guess silk top. It's very wrinkly because it's been sitting in a bag for quite a while, but this is from fall 2006. It has the style color number. It's called Sunrise Satin and a Kimura top. I think it's really cool. Kind of to see styles coming back in style. The whole puffy sleeve trend came back in this year, and people really like silk satiny material, and this is from 2006, so trends do get recycled. And this is the last item that I found that wasn't mutilated. So this is a Moda International silk cami top. It has the tags on it and everything. It says LA trip July 2005, summer 2006, Catherine Redmond, whoever that is. So it's just this cool silk top. Silk camis are really in nowadays. My guess is that it had some kind of a top that went over it, like this was just an undershirt and the actual top was cut, but this seems to be good. Moving into the things that have been cut, I ended up picking up 4 different items, and these are pieces that I either thought people would love, like another silk top, or would be simpler to fix, just because I want to make sure that they go to homes where they can be appreciated. Speaking of silk tops, this is a silk top that I got. It is from Guess, and it has the tags and everything on it. Guess jeans, extremely fine garment. It has the like SKU number on it, and as you can see in the back, there's a pretty large hole that was cut. It doesn't look like a hole that's accidentally there because all of them were just straight up and down cuts. I thought the front was really cute. It has a little ruffle detail and it has Guess embroidered on the front. It just made me sad, knowing how popular these silky tops are, to think that they would be sitting in the Goodwill Outlet with clearly nobody interested in them because they're broken. Oh, I got 5 things that are actually broken. So here's another thing. This is another tank top. It says fall 2005 tulip printed chiffon Ava cami top, and it has a big hole in the bottom. Another cami. This one is also from summer 2005. It's called the Marisol cami, yellow cami. I think it's really cute, perfect for summer, especially in LA. And again, kind of in the same spot, center back, there's a big hole in the back. And another one, this one actually has one of those stickers on it. So this is a little bustier top. It's yellow and white striped, and the back, a big sticker that says mutilated with the hole. But yeah, so this is clearly intentionally done because it's a perfectly cut little hole, and this material is thick enough that I know that I'll be able to just hand sew it back together. The last item that I got is this dress. It has this little like baby tee feel, and it's a midi length dress, but as with everything else, there's a big hole in the back. So I honestly don't know a lot of the motivation behind specifically cutting up garments and sending them to the Goodwill outlet. It's clear that these didn't go directly to a regular Goodwill, they went directly to the outlet, which bothers me. And so I'm going to be doing some research as to whether there are laws or regulations in the US about this, or if there are kind of hidden systems that incentivize this kind of activity. I also am going to be looking more into what they're doing in France. I know after the whole Burberry incident, they're working on some legislation that would prevent brands from burning or destroying unsold merchandise. And I know that if that passes in France, that could have a trickle-down effect to other countries to put similar legislation in place. I also want to understand a little bit more what my dad was talking about with the tax incentive. How destroyed can clothing be to actually donate and get a tax incentive from it? So I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of research. My next video will probably be me sitting in the same chair, chatting, sewing up the garments, and talking about what I've found over the past week in terms of why brands would do this and what it means for fashion and its relation to the environment and waste. If you know anything about this, comment down below or DM me on Instagram, because I really want to learn more, and I really think this is a serious issue. If nothing is done about it, things like this will keep happening, and I think that things will just continue getting sent to the landfill. So this may not have been what you were expecting from a Goodwill Outlet haul, especially if you watched my last one. There's a lot more like substance and thought in this video than just showing you what I bought, but I feel like these are important conversations to have on a larger scale, and because I have this platform where I talk a lot about sustainable and ethical fashion and about thrifting to reduce waste, this is a really important conversation to be having. Even if I don't know all the answers, I want to talk about it. Again, I bought these garments to rescue them from the landfill, not to make a profit. So I will be making a little bit of a profit because it takes energy to buy these garments and fix them up and post them and ship them. But the intention is not to make money, the intention is to save these garments from becoming waste. If these kinds of videos interest you, stick around. I talk about sustainable and ethical fashion, thrifting, sustainable lifestyle every Saturday. So yeah, I will catch you with these mutilated garments in my next video.